G'day guys, Dan Barrett here from Big Smoke Barbecue and Four Monkeys. On today's video, I've got this whole brisket I've picked up from Richie's. It's about a 6 kilo brisket. I thought it cooked perfectly up on the GMG. It's a cold, rainy day here in Melbourne, so today's a perfect opportunity to show you guys how to do it at home and have great results. Let's get to it. So here we have, as I said, a 6 kilo grass-fed brisket, and I've just taken it out here, haven't done nothing to it yet. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to start by turning it over. I always like to do the underside first. You can tell it's got this gash here straight out of the bag. There's not much we can do about that. We just have to work around with what we got. But basically, we just want to take off all the fat off the underside and working your knife across slowly. This is just a home cooked brisket. It's not for competition or anything like that. So it doesn't need to be anything too fancy. I mean, you could even leave all this stuff on if you really wanted to get lazy. It's how you like to do it. This is how I like to do it. Try and run with the grain. I find it's a lot easier that way. The other thing I'm going to do here is sometimes you get these heavy bits of fat here. I'm just going to dig that out. You can feel it with your hand. Don't have to go all the way out, but just get most of it out. That's the fat seam that runs between the flat and the point. Turning it over, I'm going to leave a lot of this fat on. You can tell the difference between hard fat and soft fat. You want to take all the hard fat off just by feeling it, running your hand over it. I can feel that all this is really soft, so I'm going to leave most of that on. Maybe take a little bit off this side here because it's really thick and heavy. But in there's a lot of hard fat. I'm going to take this bit of fat off here. And just start to sort of shape it around the sides too. I want to get a nice, even, round bit of meat. So when it cooks, it's going to cook evenly. I don't know what they call this bit of fat in here, but I like to take it out. I'm going to try and do it facing you guys. So you can sort of feel it with your fingers. Again, you don't need to dig it all out. I just like to get some of it out. If you kept on going, you're going to end up separating the flat and the point. It starts to really thin out down there, so I'll get rid of some of that. Having a sharp knife helps, as always, guys. This nine fingers forge does the trick for me every time. It's really light, really comfortable in the hand. All right, I got a little bit more come off there. All right, so I'm happy with where this is at now. I've got a lot of, or most of the fat, the thin fat off the underside. And the top side, we've left a lot of that fat on there. It's really soft fat. It's going to turn into jelly. It's going to be really nice to eat. But all the hard fat stuff up this end, we've taken off. We've given it a little bit of a shape. As I said, this is just a home brisket. It's going to be really basic, quick and easy. It's not a competition trim at all, so let's get some seasoning on it and we'll get it on the pit. So the two seasonings we're going to use today is the Four Monkeys home base and the Four Monkeys beef. We're going to start by using the home base, and we're going to start by rubbing the underside of the brisket. I always like to start on the underside because the top side is the side that you're going to present, so you want to rub that last, so when you flip it over it doesn't get all smudged off and messed around. So from a height, we're just going to lay these flavours, as it's starting with the home base, salt, pepper, garlic, butter, everything you want in the base rub, and just a nice even coat over the whole underside. You can try get the sides if you want. I don't usually mess around too much with the sides, but if you want to get picky, you can definitely do that. Second one we're going to put on is the Four Monkeys beef. As I said, from a height, keep the wrist moving. You don't have to put a binder on this. I don't use a binder. A lot of people like to put some water, some mustard, some oil. I find that these rubs stick no problem. I find that maybe if it was a really coarse rub, you might want to put some sort of binder on it. But just like that, from a height. Then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to repeat the process on the top side. Real heavy coat on the top. It's a big bit of meat. It can take a lot of seasonings. Doing wonders for me at the moment on the comp scene. Getting a lot of calls using it. We've actually just moved up to the big jars. Had a lot of people messaging me, asking me about going larger and larger, so I've listened, and here they are. Go out and grab some. Just give it a pat in. You don't really want to rub it in, it's just going to move it all around. You've seasoned it from a height to get a nice even coating. The last thing you want to do is start smushing around. So just patting it in, helping it really adhere to the meat. I'm going to cook it on the GMG today. I think I'm going to get it set for about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Cook it a little bit hotter today, see if we can get it pushed through and get eaten. It's ready for the pit. We're going to let it sit for about 20 minutes. Make sure those rubs really stick to that meat. We're going to fire up the grill in the meantime, and I'll see you out at the pit. So I've got the GMG set to 300. The meat's looking really good. It's been about 10-15 minutes. You can tell the rub's really starting to adhere to the meat now. It's not all dry. It's time to chuck it on the pit. I'm going to put it up on the upper rack today, and I'm going to have the point end facing towards the exhaust. I find on most barbecues, that's the hottest point of the barbecue. So it makes sense to put the fattest part of the brisket or whatever meat you're cooking facing that way. So I'm going to chuck it up on the top rack, as I said, just like so. And I'm going to chuck this probe in it. I've got this grill eye probe just to maintain temperatures, keep an eye on it, get it in there nice and deep, right in the thickest part. Get that closed up. I've got the app on my phone. I can sit on my couch and just watch it tick along. I don't need to even check it. I'm just going to let it roll for hours until it reaches around 165 degrees Fahrenheit internal, and then we're going to come back and wrap it up. Cheers. So it's been about 4 hours now, and the internal temperature's just coming up to about 160 internal. So what I want to do is, I'm happy with the colour, so I'm going to pull it out. It's looking great. I'm going to take this probe out for a minute. We're going to wrap this brisket up in some foil. As you see, it's getting a nice colour. It's barking up real nice. So we're just going to wrap it in some foil. Some nice thick foil. Not going to put anything in the wrap today. Just like that. So now it's wrapped up, we're going to put it back in the pit. We're going to put the probe back in the thick part again. We're going to continue cooking till it reaches around 200 degrees, 205, somewhere in there, and it's probing really soft. On it goes. So it's been about 7.5 hours now. The brisket's probing at 205, but more importantly, it feels really, really soft. I know it's getting dark here, sorry about that guys, but it's feeling really soft. So wherever you like to probe it, it's just going in like there's nothing there. So that's a good sign that it's done, it's tender, it's ready to go. We just need to rest it for a couple of hours in Canberra, and then we'll slice it up, and this thing's gonna be delicious. So it's all come down to this. It's been about 8.5, 9 hours since we started at 10 o'clock this morning. The brisket, we rubbed it with home base, with the Four Monkeys beef. We put it on the GMG at 300. It cooked for about 6.5, 7 hours, whatever it was. It was probing like butter, that was the main key. We then chucked it in the Canberra for a couple of hours, and now let's dig in. Gonna make some slices here. It's so soft. This knife just glides through it with ease, as you can see. I mean, look at that. Doesn't get any better than that. It's absolutely dripping juice. Pull a slice in the middle here. It's got nice bend, got nice tug. That's really, really good, guys. As I said, I got some other recipes I want to try with this leftover brisket, but give it a go. As I said, it's really easy. It's not much to it. You're cooking the colour, and then you're cooking the tenderness, and that's, I mean, you don't get any better than that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.